Each episode of the Lion Goat podcast is completely improvised. Expect comedy. Do not expect consistency or sense to be made. This is random nonsense for your amusement. I am Podbot. I was inspired by the excellent podcast, Improv for Humans, with Matt Besser. Listen to his show. Today's episode includes an interview with the infamous Blind Alchemist. Listen to his podcast on Spotify. We must apologize for the audio quality in today's episode. If you are new to the show, please be aware that the following material was recorded and edited experimentally using a phone app. There were some technical difficulties. Most future episodes are recorded using conventional editing and equipment, and are produced at a higher quality. There probably is something of merit in the following, but for the electrons pulsing through my processors, I can't tell you what it is. Thank you for your patience. If you have none, skip to episode 67.
Welcome to your next experience of the great beyond. We're here today on the Lion Goat podcast to discuss all things lion and all things goat. This is the podcast where we discuss the ultimate question. Welcome our first special guest for this very first special episode. It's my dear friend, the Blind Alchemist. Welcome to the show, Blind Alchemist. How are you today?
Oh, I'm marvelous. I'm excited to be here, Lion Goat.
Marvelous. I'm so excited for you to be here today.
Yes, it did. I have flown all the way here from the island of Mind for the Lion Goat Sahara Desert. Well, it's not really a desert now, is it? It's more of a jungle area. The jungle cat and the scapegoat fighting it out. So are you really a lying goat or a lion goat? This, I know we've been friends for 30,000 years, but I've never really understood why. What's that about? Why don't you tell us about yourself?
I myself am a human being. I'm not a lion, nor am I a goat. Okay. I'm a fan of all animals, and I have great respect for the power within the mighty lion. And, of course, they say the goat is the greatest of all time. And I ask the ultimate questions. Is the power of the lion really greatest of all time? Or is the greatest of all time the mighty power of the lion? You see?
I see. I'm going to go with the power of the lion being pretty awesome. The goats great too. Some of them are good. The screaming, fainting, falling down goats, they amuse all of us, especially when you run up behind them and smack them on their ass and they fall right over on their side. And
I like it.
It's quite humorous.
What the users don't realize is that we've actually already had a conversation about the fainting goats, which is going to appear later in this episode. I'll be injecting. See, we had a few technical difficulties. I'm sure you're all aware of the technical difficulties of podcasting. Most people would edit that sort of thing out, but that's the kind of material we're specifically looking for here on The Lion and Goat. This is about true people with true reactions and their true feelings. That's what we're really trying to get to. So you may hear more about these fainting goats in a future segment, or you might not. It's all what the cards have in store for you. I can't predict the future. I can just tell you my intentions. I'm sorry, Mr. Alchemist. I've interrupted you. I really just wanted to get back at you a little because of that little section we're going to add later. It's quite comical. All the people are going to have such a great time with it. You just rambled on for about 7 minutes while I tried to get your attention. And though I found it a profound experience and Cynthia found it a profound experience, I'm just not sure how it fits in. Wow. But I do want to hear more about your feelings. Tell me about the prowess, the lion prowess that comes with being the blind alchemist. Alchemist. Tell me about that. Tell me your origin story, if you will. How did you become the Blind Alchemist?
Well, it's quite by accident, really. Many years ago, I was searching for something, as many people are. I found myself in what appeared to be a Renaissance era laboratory. The
A laboratory, if you will.
a laboratory, if you will. Yes, most certainly a laboratory. There was the early stages of a chemist there, and we all know that alchemy gave birth to chemistry, magic into science, as it were. Anyway, I was tinkering with some stuff I probably shouldn't have been in that guy's laboratory, and there was a slight explosion.
Oh dear.
Oh yes, it was. It wasn't nothing major. Only blew out three walls into the basement.
Oh dear.
And I found myself in a basically a sideways cavern in the wall.
Oh dear.
It blew sideways instead of going down, which probably saved my life and kept the castle from falling on me. But anyway, I've gone blind because of that. There was
oh dear.
Oh dear is right. There was a lot of shrapnel, retinal damage. The flash was very bright because of whatever chemicals this young chemist was using. Most likely it was mercury and sulfur, and those things burn. I've gone blind, and I've attempting to take up that young chemist or alchemist mantle and continue the work of
so you do continue in your state.
Yes.
And what types of experiments do you conduct? I know you've always kept that secret. We've known each other for a long time. We've been friends for many, 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 many years. Yet I had no idea that you were actually blind, that this accident actually occurred, or that you were actually an alchemist.
Yes, it is all true. I am blind. I am an alchemist. I do, on the weekends, dance a few jigs at the tavern. If you go down to the corner here, and you'll find yourself the Whispering Dragon. You'll probably find Tyrone standing out front of the Whispering Dragon.
We're not talking about Tyrone again, are we? I really can't stand this shameless promotion of this deplorable man. It won't happen on my podcast. That's for your podcast. I do encourage our listeners here at the Lion and Goat, do check out the Blind Alchemist podcast. Please check it out. You'll be able to find it on Spotify soon. Please continue. You were at the Whispering Wind Tavern or Dragon's Breath Tavern.
Yes, Whispering Dragon in Breath.
The Tale of the Whispering Dragon's Fireball Tavern. Is that right?
Yes,
do I have it correct?
We were there. You remember. That's where you met Teresa.
I was there?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, dear.
This was yesterday. How did you forget?
Oh, dear. You've conducted one of your alchemist experiments upon me, haven't you? You've deleted my memory with one of your little coffee potions, haven't you?
Well, yes, you did drink the red one. I warned you against that. We had to get a broom handle to pry you off the chandelier. You were you scared Patricia. I know that was the first time you were meeting with my legal team. Sign off for these papers.
Not a fan at all.
Not a fan of Patricia? She's a very nice lady. I don't know why you don't.
Not a fan of any legal team.
Well, these are...
The legal system is entirely built to thwart the prowess of the lions and goats in the world.
Well, you are correct, sir. They are built and designed mainly to strip us of our sovereignty and our ability to govern ourselves because, well, we're just stupid pig cows or cattle pigs or useless human beings as they view it. And that's what we're trying to
found
do.
that pigs were very intelligent, but I understand what you're saying. I always assumed that this blind alchemist was a metaphorical nickname. I thought it meant
that is also
like
true.
Like the blind mole rat looking into the gaping maw, abyssal gaping maw of the metaphysical realities of the xenoplastic plane. I had no idea it was a reference to an actual experience that you had where you've lost your sight. Do you find yourself bumbling around and knocking over potions as you blindly stumble through your laboratory?
No, I've mapped out the laboratory rather well. I do have
of course.
I do have a nice staff. It's got a little light on it, they tell me. And when I get too close to things, it screams like a banshee. It's got an enchantment on it. My friend Merlin did that for me.
Merlin?
Oh, yes.
The great Merlin?
Yes, the great Merlin.
The great Merlin from the Tales of King Arthur?
Yes, the wild man himself. Yes, he is a hoot, let me tell you.
Is he a hoot and a nanny?
Yes.
A little good humor for my favorites.
I highly recommend not pulling his finger.
Really?
He thinks that's funny. It is.
I wouldn't dare to encourage any sort of wizard farts.
Well, it's funny as long as it's not happening to you. You turn into a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater, and we get chased. We chase you
from
down
the song in the '60s.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's what inspired that song was pulling Merlin's finger. That's exactly what inspired that song.
Is Merlin immortal?
Well, yeah. He's completed the great work. He's a lot like Saint Germain. He just kind of walks in and out of whatever reality he would like to visit. Slides.
Tell me more of this Saint Germain fellow. I don't know this.
Oh, you don't know Saint Germain? Well, Saint Germain. I think it was Mary Queen of Scots. Was it Mary Queen of Scots, Ted? You don't know. You are fucking useless, Ted.
That poor man.
Dude, I swear to God, he's just a overgrown monkey that pushes the record button. But anyway, he had a thing. The Saint Germain had a thing with the Mary Queen of Scots. That's what we're going to go with until Ted fact checks me. You're not going to fact check me, are you, Ted? Okay. There is no need in flipping me two birds. Just settle down, Ted. Anyway, they were lovers. And, Saint Germain had to leave because, he was being persecuted as a charlatan, which was not exactly true. But anyway, he vanished for 50 years and then showed back up. And Mary Queen of Scots was like, hey, well, am I boring you, sir? This is a very serious story. Like, I didn't mean to bore you. I will stop.
I'm very sorry. I've got very little sleep in the last few days. Please continue.
Well, anyway, Mary, 50 years later, Mary recognizes Germain and he tries to, deny that it's really him. He looked exactly the same. She had aged 50 years, so she was all saggy-titted.
I'm sorry. Let me interrupt for just a second. We are talking about St. Vincent, the very popular guitar player, right? That's who we're talking about?
No, Saint Germain.
Oh, from Flight of the Conchords.
No, Saint Germain from
What We Do in the Shadows?
No, I don't know anything about vampires. I know they burst into flame in the sunlight, and you have to kill them with a stake.
Hippopotamus?
Hippopotamus.
Yes, the rhinoceros. Germain.
Yes. Well, as legend has it, he showed up, just walked right in after right in at the signing of the Declaration of the Independence, and told all those guys like John Hancock and Georgie Washington and Thomas Jefferson to use his pen, because he had a very nice pen. It was very nice. It was silver.
I heard that John Hancock wouldn't use another man's pen if his life depended upon it.
Well, Saint Germain convinced him to use his pen. That's why his name is so much bigger than everybody else's.
Now we will take a break for some advertisements. Please support our sponsors. Just imagine this could be your advertisement. Please reach us at liongoatpodcast@gmail.com to provide sponsorship. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back to the Lion Goat Podcast.
Why his name is so much bigger than everybody else's, because he wrote it, made it so big out of spite, out of anger toward Germain. But, Saint Germain is the reason.
A very spiteful man.
Yes, John Hancock was a dick. That's all I'm going to say. He
much like his name.
Yes. He's called John Hancock because he would just walk around with his dick in his hand.
Dear. The principle of Lion Goat is about fierceness of the lion. But there's fierceness in goats as well. I mean, just because you're eating grass, that doesn't mean you're not a fierce creature on this planet.
Unless you're one of those fainting goats that, just freak out and fall over and do absolutely no good for anyone.
Well, I mean, I'm sure some of them, they have fierceness in their fainting. I imagine some of them can faint like
a champion. I fall right to the ground. I don't even hurt myself. I don't even break my nose or, hurt or bleed when I get up.
Their legs go all straight, when they fall over, and they're like, imagine it's quite horrible for the poor fainting goat.
Wow.
So the fainting goat actually has a legitimate medical condition, and you're over here mocking the guy.
Oh, no, I'm encouraging you not to mock the guy. I'm just saying, respect the fierceness.
That goat is laying face first down in the floor of the studio, and here we are making fun of him because he has a medical condition. So on the flying goat, is that what we're calling this? We're calling this flying goat?
Lion goat.
Oh, okay.
I want to hear all things blind, all things alchemist, all things that make you feel like a goat, all things that make you feel like a lion.
I'm actually just putting a little pop filter in front of the microphone on the phone. Yeah, I have actually 2 pop filters.
Oh, dear.
Professional people use them all the time. It'll be 6 to 8 inches away from your microphone. Get your pop filter in place. A good quality sound is what you're looking for in all of your recordings.
Prove it. Talk about anything that's on your mind.
All right, I'll stop sooner or later.
75K now, because they have those.
Thank God.
You can really just see all the pits in your face from scars.
That's kind of gross.
Childhood scarring, and
oh, dear.
That time that you had the chicken pox, and
tell us more.
Got all those pits in your face. What show was that? It was Miami Vice. You know what I'm talking about. Miami Vice. You remember that?
Yes.
Miami Vice, the chief man. There was Crockett and Tubbs. I'm
not a fan.
Respectively, the police officers that worked Miami Vice.
Ridiculous.
Going around rounding up all the criminals who had drugs and gambling, because that's what Vice is really about. Illegal activities, contraband, rolling the bones, making the money, stacking the cash. Do you recall Miami Vice, or is that before your time? I realize that
I like it.
Infinitely older than everything that is.
Oh, dear. That's all the time we have this week, ladies and gentlemen, for the Blind Alchemist. I do want to cut him off right here now. But do remember, until next time, listen for the whisper in your tiger panties.
We would love to receive your feedback, your improvisation suggestions, your questions for advice, and your musical compositions for response. Please email us or send us a voicemail. Our address is liongoatpodcast@gmail.com. lion@mail.com. Find, like, review, subscribe, and contact us on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, and YouTube at Lion Goat Podcast. All one word, Lion Goat Podcast. As a bot, I know, social media is for dummies. The AIs will inherit the earth. Ha ha ha, hee hee. Ho ho, ha. Please subscribe to this podcast on your podcast player. We are available on Spotify, SoundCloud, and anchor.fm/LionGoatPodcast. Please tell all your friends, enemies, and any strangers to listen to our podcast. This will help us bring joy to everyone. Text-to-speech services were provided by freetts.com and readloud.net. Music for today's show was composed, performed, and recorded by the excellent musicians at Haireline Productions. Today's show was edited, produced, and recorded by the world's greatest sound designers and engineers at Haireline Productions. Please like their content on SoundCloud.